Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome once again to our Sci-Fi Model Action Live Hangouts. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we got things rolling here, so we'll get right to it tonight. We'll start off with our introductions. I'll start off with my left, and we've got our friend Adam Corville with us again tonight. Glad to see you, Adam. It's been a little while.
Oh, I know. It's been good to be back.
All right, glad you're with us tonight. And we got Armando de la Cabada on tonight, too. How are you doing, Armando?
I'm great, Boyd. Happy to be here. I'm in South Florida, as all of you already know, and although I can't stay too long, I figured I'd drop in for a little bit. And I'm happy these things are back in the week because it's a lot harder for me to get to them on the weekend. So glad to be here, man.
Glad to have you. What, you on call tonight, Armando?
Yeah, I gotta go into the hospital in a little bit, so got a little time, but I'll be in a little later.
All right. Okay, and we got Dave Pashtag, and Dave's on the bridge of the Enterprise right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Dave. I'm from Grant City, Illinois, and glad to be here. And been a little bit since the last one I hit, so I wanted to hit this one. So I'm here. I thought I'd make a little different locale look tonight. So.
Oh, that's a nice backdrop there, Dave. That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
And we've also got Ian with us on tonight, the prop maker. How you doing tonight, Ian?
Oh, pretty good. You guys?
Great.
Good.
Great. Cool. I'm hoping you'll show us a little bit of that 350 scale NX-01 you're working on tonight, Ian.
Oh, I will. I will.
Okay, great. And we've got Jamie Shiner with us again tonight. And Jamie, what time is it over there in the UK?
Well, stay awake, feels Boyd. It's now 2:30 in the morning.
Wow,
But I managed to night off work just so I could be with you guys and share what I've done so far.
All right, Jamie, we'll get back to you in just a little bit. And John Swaller in his usual spot there, hard at work on his bench. How you doing tonight, John?
Doing good. Starting to hook up wiring to the main power
Awesome.
on the Stinger.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing that. We've got Mike Morgan with us again tonight. How you doing today, Mike?
All right. Reporting here from the workbench.
All right, that's a good place to be. And we've got Scott Freeberg as well. How you doing, Scott? Good to see you again.
I'm doing well, thanks, Boyd. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've been on here. So yeah, like Armando said, glad you're back on weekdays. It works better for my schedule, and been working on a few things, which I'll show in a bit, but just happy to be here.
All right. And we've got our resident electronics guru, and Mr. Ralph Tenaglia with Tenant Controls. How you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing great, Boyd. Thanks for asking. And when it's my turn, I got a little surprise to show you guys. Some of you guys know about this to some degree, but I'm going to show a little surprise what we did to it.
All right. We love surprises, Ralph. And you guys know me. I'm Boyd Crompton, your host for this thing tonight, and I operate the Sci-Fi Model Action community forums. And I just want to make a quick announcement, too, regarding our Hangouts before we get going. We're also going to keep doing our Sunday Hangouts for the European crowd. I'm really glad to announce that we've got new hosts for that, which will be Liam Dillon and Craig Kerr. They volunteered to do the European Hangouts for us for the Sci-Fi Model Action forums. It'll be at the same time that we were having it at 2 o'clock p.m. USA Central Time. I think that's about 8 o'clock p.m. in the UK. So you guys can look forward to that. Hopefully we'll all be hopping in there from time to time, but we wanted to make sure we continue giving the European guys a chance to have their hangout where it's not, as Jamie said, 2 o'clock in the morning for them. So we'll keep going with that, and I'm sure it's going to do really well. I want to say thank you to Craig and Liam for stepping up and doing that for us. So let's move on now and see what we've got going on here and get to our What's on the Bench segment, and let's talk to Adam first. Adam, he has been away for a little while, so he might have something new he's working on to show us. What's going on, Adam?
Well, working something that is science fiction, but some may be familiar with it, some not so much. I had got a gift from one of our members to build an anime type machine called a Veritech. And it's one of the transforming robots from the anime, started out as Macross. And in the U.S. they showed it as Robotech. So I got a box picture on it.
Whoa,
Nice.
that's going to be
Oh,
pretty
wow.
big, huh?
Huge.
So this is 1/72nd, and it'll go from 3 modes. You have the airplane. It looks kind of like an F-18 or an F-14, somewhere in between. And of course, what they call the Batroid. That's the robot. So, according to the show, you know, the pilot will move up in there and he'll drive the robot or fly the airplane or something like that. But that's just the Americanized. Now, if I can do a screen share, I'll show you what it really is. Let's see. Let's see here. It's on here somewheres. Ah, here are. And can you see that?
Yep.
I see a whole bunch of small pictures on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Try this. This is kind of clunky, so stand by.
Oh, there we go. Oop,
You
lost
see it?
Had 'em, but then they went.
Huh?
I see Adam.
Oh, hang on a second. Things are very clunky.
I trained him well, didn't I, guys?
Yes.
Oh, look at
There it is. He's got my technique down perfect.
Okay, do y'all see that?
Yep.
Okay. That's from the original series that came out in Japan. And I won't go into the whole story. You can look it up for yourself if you want. But that's what the model is going to look like. It's going to be overall kind of like a sand or a tan color with the orange accents on it, and a few areas where maybe some pin washes and some weathering. But that's the goal on this kit. And like I mentioned before, it's a 1/72nd scale, and this is kind of a unique kit. When Chris McLaughlin, who's over at Sci-Fi Model Action, had sent this to me as a gift because we both share a same passion for anime as we do Star Trek. Anyway, long story short, he says, yeah, why don't you try this version here? And he said, there's going to be some inaccuracies, but it's okay. But make it this version. This is supposed to be like the trainer version, you know, like a training version of the F-18 or something like that. So the kit is probably 25 years plus old. I'm not real sure. It originally came out in 1984. So this particular model, you can open the gear doors, you can move the variable geometry wings. It's fully transformable from one mode to the other. And if you go to the robot mode, he's fully posable. He has arms, wrists, hips, and a head, and you can pose him in for action poses or whatever you like. But it's really unique, and they still make those today, but what's different is they're totally snap-tight kits, and they're molded in color, so if you can paint them if you want to, but they're better just left alone. But this one is just a typical styrene kit, just like anything else. Everything has to be glued together except for the joint scuff. So when you get through with it, like I say, you can move it around and change the shape, just like that. So at this stage, we just got a few parts primed. For example, some of you might recognize this is just the tail section, like that. And the little vertical stabilizers fold up, now become his backpack. And then you have the variable geometry wings. So when these guys get installed, well, what would be the chest area, you can fold them back or out, and that becomes his back. And of course, this is his big old rifle that he'll hold. And that's what we got on the bench.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Are you doing a build thread on that over at the on the forums, Adam?
No, no build thread on something like this. I thought about doing something like that, but the only thing is there's a lot of moving parts on it, and this is something that would get way too lengthy. because there's a lot of steps trying to prepare everything. It's just like say like with like a regular model, you'll have to stop several times, and that would just like I say, it'll be too detailed. But I'll be posting this as a finished product on the gallery, and I'll have a lot of pictures of it going through the transformation mode and seeing the 3 different phases. So that's what we're going to have done on that.
Awesome. Well, I know we have a lot of fans of that type of thing over on the boards too, so they'll like to see that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Adam. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Let's go to Armando real quick and see what he's got going on.
I've been working since the beginning of September on the September build over at SFMA, the Final Frontier, which was basically anything Star Trek, and I chose to do the Akira class USS Thunderchild, the ship that first appears in the opening sequence of, well, actually it shows up in Deep Space Nine too, but you really get to see it in the opening sequence of First Contact, Star Trek First Contact. It's sort of like a destroyer type with shuttle bays on the front and in the back. It's a cool-looking ship, and it's very popular with trekkers. In fact, Polar Lights had announced a kit back in 2008, a styrene kit, and they had the box art and everything. But then in 2010, they went under and quietly shut it down. It was 1/1000 kits. So Starcraft's models came out with a 1/1000 a couple of years back, and I picked it up, got the upgrade kit, which comes with the transparent parts, and it's my first resin kit, and it's been a learning experience. Let me show you some of the stuff I've done on it. I went ahead and got a lot of Ralph's nifty boards and set up a phaser array, just like I did with the Enterprise D. And today I was, let me see, where's my camera? Here it is. Today I finished painting the phasers. I painted them with the Alclad copper. This is the top saucer. Now the saucer has these support struts, which they go on here and they connect with the back. And there's a crossbar, and the nacelles are pointing downwards. And naturally, being the masochist that I am, I wanted to go all out with the lighting and do all sorts of things with it. But so far I'm moving along. I don't know if I'll be finished by September, but just to show you guys, the phaser effect came out all right. I think I like the Enterprise D's better, but here's what it looks like. You guys tell me.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
You can see it really clear.
Okay. I was afraid it wasn't coming through the resin as much. The strip has a lot more detail than the strip on the Enterprise D, which was simply smooth. This one has actual ridges and looks a lot like it's supposed to. And I guess it makes it a little bit darker, but when the lights are off, it looks great. The bridge has a strobe, which I used a tip of a mushroom fiber optic to create the a little plastic piece, and I do get light on both sides. There's also an SMD in there to light up the bridge. On the inside, I've got a bunch of wiring. I've got nav lights on either side, and I've got lighting for the windows, as well as on the other saucer, the bottom half, I've got SMDs pointing outwards to get some of these lights which are in the periphery, some of these windows which you can't get to with these lights. On the crossbar where the photons and the quantum torpedoes are, this is forward and this is aft. This is the piece that sits on top of the crossbar. If you look at the picture, you can see it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The quantum torpedoes and the photon torpedoes come out the front there. It also has aft launchers, but I wasn't going to go that complicated on it. Now this is actually a plastic piece which is clear and came with the upgrade. If you can see on the inside, it's clear. I blocked it with black primer on the outside and then painted it with the hull color. And then I scratched off the launchers, and on the front is where I made the actual active launchers. What I did was I drilled into the resin, because it's pretty thick, enough to get SMDs down by the launcher. And I put red SMDs in the center and white SMDs in the outside. I'm afraid I won't be able to use that bicolor LED you sent me, Ralph, because this has a lot more launchers than just one. So what I'll do is I'm going to set up the slide switch to the center so I can switch back and forth between the photons and the quantum torpedoes.
Yeah, just like the other one, but you're just using the SMDs versus the bicolor. That's fine.
Exactly.
It'll work.
Yeah, and I'll set it up so I've got two circuits. Now, this thing came pre-wired. This is part of the upgrade kit. And what I did was I cut the wire in the center and then wired the quantum torpedoes out this way and the photons this way. Then for the additional lighting that I wanted inside, I put a small strip of LED, a 3 LED strip in there, and I drilled a hole and trenched on the outside and drilled another hole through the wing, put it out this way, and then puttied it there so that it hides the wire. And it's been an education with the resin because it doesn't cut the same way as plastic, I'll tell you, and that dust is just extremely harmful. You got to wear a mask for it. So this is the that's the quantum torpedoes.
Oh yeah, they show up good too.
Yeah, I think they'll look great once I hook them up to the board and they fire. I was hoping to have that done tonight, but you know, work got in the way, so I'm afraid I can just show you the lights as they work. But hey, good enough for now. I guess I'll have them hooked up for next week. These are the reds. Yep, there they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So the photons will fire out the center, and the quantums will fire out the sides. They'll fire in 3-shot bursts, right, Ralph?
If my memory serves me right, that is correct.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're supposed to do from the movie. They go choo, 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 so that's perfect. And that'll be that. And then the nacelles, I'm going to be working on those next. I've already light blocked them on the inside. Let's see, this one right here. They're pretty cool looking nacelles. They have surface detail to put nav lights or strobes or both if you want. I think I'm going to put the navs on the outside, on the rear, and strobes on the front, or on steady on lights. With this model, there's so many different variations online, and the screenshots are so brief that I think I can pretty much use whatever artistic license I want to put the lights wherever I want. There's one more thing. Let me show you the deflector dish on the bottom. If I can find it. I glued the saucer. I drilled the hole for the bar on the saucer yesterday, and I epoxied it in place, and it's been drying overnight. It's hard as a rock now, and I use the same technique with the sleeve that you can. Oops. Oh, okay. I guess not. Check on that. You're supposed to rotate, but actually it rotated. The epoxy's not holding that well. All right. Well, this is the bottom saucer. That's the deflector dish. It's an actual upgrade part that comes cast in clear blue resin. I made a cone with thin styrene and put a 5mm LED so it directs the light right at it. And I've got SMDs on the periphery to light those windows I mentioned. It also has a clear piece here of resin that is for the launch bay. I'm going to put some SMDs back there so it shines on them, because I have seen on pictures that these shine out this way. So it's a cool looking kit. It's just a lot of work, and it doesn't behave the same way as resin. So you have to be careful how you deal with it. It doesn't paint the same way. It doesn't sand the same way. It's tricky. Also, it doesn't seem to hold the epoxy the way I would like. But Yeah, this has been drying all night and it's still not solid. That's weird. Anyway, done a lot. So that's what I'm working on right now.
That's awesome. That's going to be loaded with special effects there, Armando. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. Looks really nice.
Yeah, I like the design of it. Looking at the warp engines on that, there's a couple of cues that they have of the shapes of the chiller grills and that are reminiscent of the what we call the Lost Enterprise, the Phase 3 Enterprise, or
Right.
Phase 2, I'm sorry, Phase 2, the one that they never showed, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a nice looking kit. I'm hoping I can make it look. So that's what I'm working on.
Okay, great. And let's go to Dave next. What do you got going on, Dave? Now Dave has no sound.
Alistair.
How about now?
There you
Yes.
go.
Yay!
Okay. Anyway, I'm doing my Battlestar Galactica, the toss.
Oh, nice.
I just kind of started it, so I was able to drill me some windows, and I got the gator head somewhat pretty much put together. You assemble it in 3 different pieces, and then you don't glue it all together till the end. So I'm gonna use these JSD connectors for each section. So I just plug them together, It's like
Yeah.
three different units. So,
Nice.
but I got a battery here. I don't know how charged it is. But just like I say, I just kind of started. I got, drilled some holes.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Good.
I'll probably just fill them with, canopy glue, and a lot of people go the fiber optic route, but I'm not good with fiber optic, so.
Oh, and something like that, you don't really need to. It looks good the way it is. Did you just put a couple of LED strips in there, Dave?
Yeah, I put 2 LED strips in there, the warm white, and then up here in the bridge, I got a couple SMDs.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, it lights it up real good.
Yeah, it looks nice.
So, that's about where I'm at with it. And like I say, I took about a week off, and I was just doing some other stuff and trying to decide what I wanted to go to next, really. But I finally decided to go ahead and do the Galactica, so.
Be a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's where I'm at. I'm kind of short because it just kind of really started, so.
Oh, looking good, Dave. You doing your videos on that one on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'll be doing a video on it. Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
And ones that didn't see, let me turn my camera. You don't see my other ones along the wall right here.
That's pretty cool hangout there, Dave.
I made some shelves and put them up there, so.
I want to see him flying, Dave.
There's your War of the Worlds back there, Ralph.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, thanks for showing that, Dave. And let's go to Ian next and see what he's doing.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I done mute. Let's see. Well, what am I working on? This is as far as I've got on the NX bits. Unfortunately, I still haven't got the RISM parts in like 2 weeks. I'm sure they'll come eventually, but time is ticking, so hopefully I'll finish it, but I'll light it up. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
I did the same like I did with the Avenger right there, and I decided to go trigger happy with the poly transpar paints, so it kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this, but it has some little iridescent Aztecs over it, and it worked pretty well for this guy, so when I put the Aztec decals over it, it just added these little flecks of color and stuff, so I don't know if it works as well on this gray that I picked. And then I also decided to go the refit route, since it's also a refit, and paint the bridge that kind of gold color or whatever it is. What is that? Is that just the gold, or is that something else that's on the refit bridge dome?
Boy, I don't know. Is it different than the original NX one? I haven't seen many pictures of the refit up close.
Well, no, I mean on the on the motion picture refit, what's that color that's the bridge supposed to be?
Oh, well, the front part of the bridge is some more of that iridescent gold on the refit, and then on the A it's a little bit darker. It's more of almost kind of a goldish tan color.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of the route I went with this. I figured it's a refit. Let's make the bridge done gold, because in most of the pictures I've seen, there's like two versions: metallic, regular NX version like that, and there's like a gray TOS Enterprise version also. So the one I've been mostly basing my stuff off is the Nerd Relay version, the Starship Graveyard or whatever, where they're all in the desert. And
Right.
you've got his is pretty good. It doesn't have the little nacelle spikes on it, but I've been kind of mishmashing it with the different versions that I've seen of it. Unfortunately, that's all I have to show of it so far.
Well, you're making good progress. It looks good. And I don't know if everybody knows, but you're actually building the new. There's a new resin conversion kit that came out for that, right, Ian?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's the same guy that does the really big the big-ass Battlestar Galactica, or no, it isn't. Well, you get it at the same website. It's Howling Wolf, but I guess he's with JT Graphics, and Badass is also with JT Graphics or something.
Right.
Some weird conglomerate thing. But yeah, hopefully those will get here soon. And I mean, I don't think there's that much complicated lighting for the secondary hull. There might be a flasher at the bottom. I have seen a couple versions where there's like a ring around the deflector dish that actually glows, so I might try to do that, cut that out, and mount the center of the deflector dish on a clear piece and have it glow just for some.
That would be cool.
Lighting.
I know Mondo's got that resin kit. He says it's real nice. As far as the casting and everything. And
Yeah, it's really well made. Nice crisp detail. You're gonna like it.
Well, I was worried because like the pictures they had on their website, nobody seems to have posted any pictures anywhere of it.
No, it's really good. Good quality. I have it. It's really made me want to build the refit NX1 now, because I've got another kit, and I'll probably have that on my docket in the next 6 months or so.
Cool.
Actually, if you want to see it, Jerry at HDA Model Works on his YouTube channel, he did like an out-of-box review on it. He's got the same resin kit, and he shows it up close where you can really see it.
Yeah, it sure does.
Well, it's the parent and child of the one you're working on right now, Armando.
It is, actually. I wanted to use this ship for the Enterprise. The story goes they wanted to use the Flora, and the guys said, "You guys are crazy. You can't use this ship because this is a present-day ship. You got to go back and build another one." So they used this one as an inspiration. A lot of the elements that these booms, for instance. In fact, if you look right here, that little detail, that's on the NX-01 on the top. I painted it gold brown on mine. It's the same exact detail, just a little bigger.
Yeah, that comes from Boyd probably knows. When they did that, it comes from a plane. Those are like superchargers on an aircraft.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
I got one of those.
Yeah, P-38. That's it.
But yeah, I got one of those Akiras also that I was planning on lighting and drilled a couple holes, and then I'm like, I'll get it.
It's a challenging kit, I gotta say. Let's hope I can do it right. The paint doesn't paint the same way as styrene. That's for sure.
Yours looks awesome so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's my NX refit, and I guess this other thing I'm working on here, we've got a old Mark 7 Federation tricorder.
Cool.
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
I like that.
Very cool.
Do you need my address, Ian?
Yeah, I do pick up. And I mean, you definitely still get this kit in the electronics, so they're still out there. And they have this fancy version that has an LCD screen and all that kind of stuff. So always fun. Then also, in the props department, I'm also working on the Season 1 version of the tricorder, and it's got the medical head that detaches.
Oh, cool.
Cool, that is.
And that'll be all lit up, and the scanner will come out and do all the fun stuff. One more prop thing that I just happen to have with us is the Nemesis right.
Just happen to have a pulse rifle, huh?
It was, it was just laying around. It was in the Federation surplus. I picked it up, but it'll light up.
Are you going to make it a working transporter?
Well, we have that stuff that's on the back of the transporter, that like holographic material that we were going to use for that. So I'm 1% way there.
Jamie wants a transformer. Transporter, I mean, sorry.
And we could all meet up in one room.
Yeah, this guy will have the sliding cowl version that's in Nemesis. The cells will light up, and it'll have this.
Cool.
And then behind me are my 350 Enterprise and the IS and all that fun backdrop stuff. And then on the anime note, fun. Almost finished this guy. This is the Zeta Plus from Gundam Unicorn. He transforms and all. I love the Gundam models. They're so cool. And the Rigazi.
Cool.
And eventually,
Cool.
I'll get to this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Next big ass deep structure Gundam.
Wow.
That's a big model.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Well, I also bought the Neo Xeon. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Gundam models, but that's that gigantic, about this tall, it's a big red guy. I don't know how to do screen share, or else I'd post it. Maybe I can post the link in the comments section or something. But yeah, I figure either go big or go home.
What did you do with the base of your toss there?
Actually, I custom made this thing. It doesn't like to move, so I'll do my best, but
Well, yeah, don't mess it up if you gotta.
made it as close as I can get.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
You got the resin buttons there. That's what I've got on my big console back here at my toss. All the resin buttons and.
Well, actually, the cool thing about this base is all the buttons are resin except for these two, and these are real Cessna rocker switches that I've wired up that actually put the lights on the base and then turn on.
Right.
But they're the vintage ones, so they work, 80% of the time.
Right. I've got 5 rockers on mine, and then I've got the bunch of the resin buttons. Yeah.
Resin. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I got the printer over here. I don't know if I can show that. My message request. There it is, right there. So we've been making some cool stuff with that. But
Ooh, 3D printer?
3D printer. It's an early cube. I think it's the second generation, or is it first generation cube? I don't remember. I think it's a first generation cube, and it can print any 5 inches cube. So pretty.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
We're getting some real eye candy tonight, everybody.
Yeah.
Some good stuff coming out.
Okay, let's move on. Thanks for showing all that, Ian. Let's move on to Jamie next and see what Jamie's doing.
Hi guys, I have a little bit of a treat for you tonight. I managed to snag myself I've teased some of the lads with the picture. I managed to get an old kit. You won't see these very often. And I managed to get one of these.
Wow. That's from Doctor Who, isn't it?
It is. It's a 1969 kit.
Wow.
So I've been working on this, and I've been keeping it a surprise from you guys. Now this is, I'll try and lift this because I've tried to put it together. Most of it's, the bottom half's done, but the top half's still a bit. But I wanted to get you somewhat show you. So here it comes. You ready for this, guys?
Those are cool. What do they call those again? I forgot what they're called.
It's a Dalek.
That's right.
And the great thing about this is the arm actually comes out.
Oh.
And they move.
Cool.
Wow, that's
Oh.
cool.
It's got to have. I'll just take this top off a bit because it's going a bit. Now around this section, it's going to have. These are like the brassings where it comes around, and these are going to go on like this. Let me show you this. So it's going to have a strip there.
Oh, nice.
Then around the middle of that, you've got these strips. I can show you one. I'll peel one off. These strips are going to go. These are like plastic bits, and they're going to go around the edge like this. So you're going to get an effect where these are on there like that.
Sweet.
Nice, nice.
And hopefully, when we get it done, Ralph's going to do me the sound kit so we can have a talking Dalek.
Is he going to chase you around the lab?
Yeah, and I'll send him to exterminate Raw. I was going to have some news about the Stingray, but I don't know if you guys have seen it on Google, but somebody stood on the bottom piece and it got smashed.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
So I've put it aside. As you can imagine, when something like that happens, you get really a bit annoyed. So I've put it away for now, and I'm going to go back to its heavy putty styrene, do a major repair job on it, and hopefully, I can get it done. I'm also finally had a message from Wally. He's finally going to send me Enterprise A over with all Ralph's lighting kit, so hopefully I want to get started on that. And I've shown you guys. I think you've done one of these, boys, haven't you? I've got one of these, which I'm going to start working on.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Those are really hard to find.
Oh yes, this one came from Japan.
Wow.
I'm going to light it up. Jerry at HDMO Works is doing me the base for it, and he's actually took the picture off the front of the box, and he's going to put that onto the base as a picture as the ship's coming out of the water, which would be quite cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Love his blacks.
There's a question I want to ask you, Boyd. Are you going to do a build on the B9 robot?
I'm working on it right now, Jamie.
Are you video logging that? Because
Yes.
I'd like to. I've got the B9 robot, and I've had Ralph's lighting kit, and I want to. I might need a bit of assistance with that one.
I hear you.
But I've been practicing me soldering and doing a couple of test lighting. It's going well, and the voice to the bottom of the sea I'm going to go for first, and then after that I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go for the Enterprise A. And Ralph's kit's so easy to understand. Hopefully it should be a doddle for me. So I'll keep you posted on that, guys, and that's where I'm up to at the moment. So, over to you, boy.
Excellent.
Yep, we're just doing a little bit at a time on the B9, Jamie. I'm just shooting some little videos here and there because we had to do some a little bit of working out on how to get the lighting set up correctly and to get those spokes in his brain and everything lit up so they'll sequence properly and everything and light bright enough using the kit supplied parts. We're using some small SMDs to do that, but we've got that all worked out, and you'll see some videos of that pretty shortly.
Great, that'd be magic.
Okay, let's move on to John, and John's working on the Stinger for that's a pretty cool model. I really love the detail you did on that cockpit, John.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like I lost my major flickering effect. I must have touched it or something. I played with the wiring a little bit. Couldn't get it to come back. So it's got red and green and blue going on. And I would hold it up, but I'm in the middle of soldering wires and stuff like that. If I can move this a little bit, maybe you can see a little bit of it, maybe. See if I can zoom in on this. And I was real disappointed. I kind of noticed it last night when I was doing some soldering. And I was like, I put power to it, but it never came back.
Huh.
Right now it's on its side. It's got some lighting going. I got my red going on, I think. My navigation. Sorry. It's just in a weird position right now. But I'm thinking by next Wednesday or Tuesday night, it'll be on its plaque and go off to its new owner.
What were you using to get the flickering effect, John? Just
it was just a I got one right here. I took the LEDs out of this and I put in some red. Excuse me, I got it zoomed in. It's a strobe light for what is it? Pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
And I took that out and took out the 3 LEDs and just put in 3 different colors and still got the same effect of the flashing. You know. Other than that, that's basically where I'm at, and hopefully next week after I show it to all you guys, I'll take it in Wednesday and give it to its new owner.
Awesome.
Excellent.
What are you going to do for Halloween?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
I said, what are you going to do for Halloween? Your pumpkin ain't going to have no light.
No, the pumpkin's got its own lighting. Matter of fact, I did some candle effect lighting on some fake candles for her, and she's got them up on the main wall upstairs, so I'm kind of proud of that one.
That's cool. Well, good work on that, John. Can't wait to see. Are you going to post a bunch of pictures of it when she's all finished up?
I've been taking all kinds of pictures on my phone. I know I haven't been posting lately. It's just, life's getting in the way. But as soon as I get it where she's on the plaque, I'm gonna post the whole scenario.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, what's going to be next after that one, John?
Well, I didn't want to go on YouTube or Google Plus and yay, it's my birthday or anything, but I turned a big 50 yesterday. Mama got me a gift. She let me go to the Amazon, and I thought, what the heck, I'll take a look and see if they have it or something to it. But I actually got the Sea View, the 8 window.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I was like, wow, and I put it under my favorites or my wish list. For some reason, either my internet was messing up or my computer was slow, but when I went to purchase, it just hung for like an hour, and usually it doesn't do that. So I had to make sure nothing was posted or bought twice and 3 times or whatever, and I think it was Sunday night I got to purchase it, and matter of fact, it's supposed to be here tomorrow.
Nice.
Cool. Nice.
Cool model.
I don't know what's next though, but that's what I got for my birthday. I got a majority of my use. I'm sorry?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, buddy.
I don't know. I've been cutting out windows on the Enterprise D, and I got all my stuff laying inside it right now from moving things around. But yeah, I've been tackling it on the Enterprise D, and hopefully do something with that once I get this done and over with.
Cool, John. Well, thanks for showing that, and can't wait to see it all finished up. I know you've been working on that one for a while. That's going to be nice. The detail on that cockpit is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Boyd, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I got to leave. So.
Okay, Armando.
Hey, Mondo.
Hey, Armando.
Bye, Armando.
Take care, Armando.
Okay, let's go over to Mike Morgan and have another look at. He looks like he's a little bit further along on his Batmobile.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Good clear picture on your camera there too, Mike. I can see that real good.
Can you? I moved it in a little closer. I had it on a tripod, which was. These cheap cameras. You got to get pretty close. Well, I did a little bit of all cladding. Did the rims. Let's see.
Yeah.
I took this mounting was that Scotch mounting like putty, and I filled in all around the spokes, and pushed away from where the spokes are, and I all cladded it, and that turned out pretty good. I did the interior, along the panels here, the chrome strips around the panels.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And the console, pieces on the console. Now when you get this, those are all chrome, so I had to de-chrome all that, and that's reason why I did that. Put the correct chroming on it. Well, I did the exhaust, or the turbine exhaust. I tried to use the mounting techniques to fill in all the grooves with this, but it took up the all-clad right with it, so I just went ahead and just, I don't know, cleaned it all off real good and reshot the all-clad on it. And I think I'm going to try to do like a dry brush in black around the ring there, so I'll have the black spaces, the void spaces. And I also did the siren. I don't know if you guys remember me cutting out the siren. But,
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, cool.
Nice, tiny too.
Yeah.
all right, there's I also did got a little bit more things done here. I did a little bit of body work here, which wrong way. All right, I did the bat radar side there.
Very cool.
Now all this stuff just need to be resistor. This is only on a coin battery, and there's nothing filled in around the hole. So this is just a demo, nothing permanent. Just wanted to. And I also got one more little thing here. Yeah, cut the tail lights out.
Yep.
Very nice.
Oh yeah.
I also did the front.
Nice.
Man, I am horrible at this.
There you go. Yep,
You can
that's
see it.
perfect. Yep.
And obviously I got a little bit of light blocking, and I'm going to put the channeling. I got some white styrene, channel in there and put the LED behind it. And the light blocking on that. And, well, that's where I'm at so far. I'm going to have to do a little bit of wet sanding on the body and buff that back out again, and try the clear and then the pledge, and take it from there again. Hopefully I won't have to repurchase another set of decals for it. It's going this far. I was wanting to ask Ruff. Now the board for the 125th Batmobile, which I was going to use, is there any way that can be kind of altered to where I can do the red and the blue flickering for the turbine?
I didn't use, Boyd used some flickering LEDs on there, right? And then was it a solid blue?
Yeah, it was solid red and a flickering blue. Actually, it was a candle. Wasn't that a candle, Boyd, that you used on yours?
Yeah, I took a actually what I did, Mike, is I just took a regular white LED I didn't have, and I dipped it. I wanted it to be an amber, an orangish flame. So I dipped it in that amber or orange clear Tamiya, made it into an amber bulb, and that's on solid. And then I put a flickering blue LED in there, one of those candle flickering blue LEDs. That just runs off of the power. It's not hooked up to the board.
Yeah, I bought 5mm blue flickering from Jerry. I got a red. I was going to kind of combine them both together because the red, I just want to power down the red and use the power down the blue so it would be able to match the red, have the red stay on and just the blue flicker.
Right. Yeah, that'll look good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try. I'll have to send you a mail, Ralph, about what I got and see if we can work something with that other board to get it to work with this. This is the LED I'm going to use. So.
Yeah, we were just talking, Mike, the other time about which way to power it. To me, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
I like to do the coin battery.
Sure.
Since it really wouldn't matter at this point in time because after I figured, I might as well just try to put the board, just put it in the body. There's nothing in here. It's a curb kit, so
right.
So much space.
Yeah, the board should fit. What we'll do is we won't use the JST connectors. That will take some height off of it. So you'll just wire to the pads on the board, and that will keep the board lower profile.
Now, is the switch hooked to that board, or you got to hook up a spec?
The switch, it's going to be loose. It's going to be wired but loose. That way you can put it anywhere you want.
That works. That works. Because I didn't want to have to. I was like, oh man, if that's hooked to that board, that means I'd have to really think about relocating it then. This is a great fitting kit. If you guys want, these panels aren't even glued in there, and they're just holding into place so nice. I thought. For no glue, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
To see parts go together like that. But that's it. The all clad. I really like working with that. One other question is that. Now this all clad, when you get it all the way on and it dries, get it that high polish. Does anybody use Pledge or you just buff it?
I'm not the expert on it, Mike. Somebody else here might know a little bit more about all clads. It's too bad Armando left. He uses that stuff a lot.
Well, I can tell you that when I use that polished aluminum, I hit it with some Krylon clear and it dulled it down. So you'll have to kind of play with it and test it. If not, Alclad makes a top coat for their shines, like the chrome and some of their polished stuff that won't bring that dullness down.
Yeah, I want it to polish. I want to bring it up.
Right.
I want to. Actually, what's going to end up happening is I'm using bare metal foil. I'm going to go back over the body with a few other pieces of bare metal foil, like those speakers that's in the back there. I was going to bare metal foil those. Does anybody ever try to heat up like clear styrene and like melt it over like a dome? Like a piece of domed piece of metal, because I was wanting to take and do that and put it over top of that. That's a compass on that dash right there, and I was wanting to cover that up with a piece of clear to kind of simulate a compass on the top of that.
Might be able to
find something round and smooth. I've been kind of searching all over, looking at things like, what can I sacrifice?
Might have tried that jeweler resin, dude. Just put a drop in there and let it harden.
Oh, yeah, like that stuff you picked up the other day?
Right.
We'll go look at that then. That's it. I tried to post a video today. I made one on my camera, and only video editing stuff I got is Windows Movie Maker, and it works good. The video I made works on Windows, like Windows Player, Media Player, but when I tried to do some editing on the Movie Maker, having a little bit of technical difficulties, and my back started hurting. I had to go see my physician this afternoon. I kind of put a stumper on things. And dinner. Then now I'm here. Oh, well. All right. Enough taking up everybody's time. Thanks for this time.
Thanks.
Very nice work there, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah. But I would try that outlet on a sprue and then try a little future over it and see what happens before you go spraying your parts, you know.
Yeah. I always test something before it goes on the original piece.
Yeah.
Right.
I bought a whole slew of those plastic styrene spoons to it, and I love using those. They're a wonder. For $2 you can't beat it. I mean, it saves you from making costly mistakes on a model. Oh my.
Oh, good job on that, Mike. It's coming together nice.
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to it. Forward to finishing this. Do my first one I've ever put any electronics in, so wish me well.
You'll be fine, Mike. And I'm sure Ralph will get you set up square there too on that. Let's go to Scott and see what Scott's been doing. He recently, a while back, finished up his TOS Enterprise, and let's see what he's working on next.
Did we lose him?
He's working on his picture, I think.
Yeah.
Scott, are you there?
He's nothing. It's I got a blank screen.
I've just got a picture.
Okay, well, he'll probably be back. Let's go to Ralph and see what Ralph's got going on then.
Well, I I do have a little surprise. You guys remember that board that Kenny and Lau and some of his buddies wanted to put together for the movie version?
Mm-hmm.
So I did something that we can add to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the camera around, so just bear with me. Let's see if we can. Okay, that's the. I made a YouTube video of it. That's the combo MVE. Let's see if I can keep my hand still. And it has a sequence where these guys wanted it. If you hit the button, that amber deflector dish will ramp up over 10 seconds to half power. And then 10 seconds after that, it goes to full power. And it'll stay, and then 10 seconds after that, it'll start ramping down while simultaneously the blue is ramping up.
That's cool.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
What did I do? I'm moving around here. Sorry. I look like a drunken sailor here. And then it'll stay like that. And what you can do is you hit the button again. This is the sequence they wanted. And you see the impulse engines on the back came on. They ramped up. And so did the crystal on the top. And again, it'll stay like that until you decide to change it. So now it's ramping down. and the nacelle chiller grills popped on. Oh my gosh.
Oh
There
yeah.
we go.
That's cool.
I'm going to have to back. I guess that's as far as I go. So that, then you hit it again. And the impulse and the crystal come back on. And you hit it again. It ramps down. Then you hit it again. And the deflector dish goes off.
That's pretty sweet.
Now that's, you guys all know that, right? That's what it's been doing from day one. Now, about a year and a half ago, when I redesigned this board, I added another switch mechanism to it. And the reason being is because I had this in mind.
I missed it.
Oh, he froze up.
No, there. Can you still see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now watch. You see how it's working now? This now has a demo mode. Shuts off, and then the navs come on. Then the strobes come on. The landing bay comes on, and the deflector dish starts ramping up. And this is all automatic. You know how we had to touch the other switch before? In the demo mode, it'll go cycle through all those features by itself.
Cool.
Will it keep running like that, Ralph?
Once everything is done, it'll just stay in the last step. Remember, they went off. See, it's going through. It's just automatic.
Because I was going to ask you about something like this.
See, now it's just repeating what you did manually before, but it's an automatic mode.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we can only control what this board does. In other words, it has navs, it has strobes, it has impulse engine, it has crystal, it has chiller grills, it has landing bay. So everything that this board does, you can put it in demo mode. And the neat thing about this is that you see how it's working now? And let's say you hit the sequence button, right? You can actually, if you go into demo mode, it overrides it. See it? And it'll start doing this automatic thing.
Cool.
So we're pretty proud of this. And this was supposed to be a year ago. This is supposed to have been done, but we had too many other projects to get involved. But Kenny pushed us on that movie Enterprise version, and all the guys that ordered that board, I asked them to wait a little while because this is what I had planned for it. So they're going to get this feature at no additional cost.
Wow, that's nice, Ralph. That's worth the wait.
Cool.
Yep. So that's it, guys. That was my little surprise.
Nice.
Some surprise, Ralph.
Hey,
Good
Ralph,
surprise.
question for you.
What's that?
Well, I was wondering, did you ever consider doing a board that has a function where it turns on all the floodlights like it does in the movie? Like you
Yeah,
get
that's
on in the bridge, you know.
yeah, that's next. What it is you see, this board has 10 outputs and 2 inputs, which the 2 inputs are those switches we just went through. There is, I'm going to make a mega board, which has many outputs, which we'll be able to control. And you guys, basically, let's say I give you 6 outputs or 7 outputs, and they're going to be staged. So it will be up, you can do your own way of doing it. If you want, let's say, the spotlights to come on that's facing forward first, you can use output number 1, let's say. If you want the rear to come on first, you can put that to number 1. So you can put it wherever you want, and it'll just be staged. Yeah, we can do it like that, the dry dock situation where it just comes up. But in the meantime, we can actually use a couple of these boards and get that same effect. So yeah, we got a lot of things that we got planned. It's just a matter of working through them all, and there's a lot of guys out there that are doing their own thing, and that's great. And when you concentrate on just doing one thing, you can get it done. Um, where we have a whole product line, we're concentrating on anywhere between 5 and 7 things at a time. So it it doesn't get done as quickly as somebody that's doing basically just one shift at home and he's making his own stuff. So, and we want to make sure that it's commercially ready. It's just not a. I know you guys are hobby, but I don't like to make hobby stuff. I like to make industrial stuff. So we want to make sure it's done right, and we have to put it through its paces, and we try to work through the code to make sure there's no glitches and that things work as is. That's pretty much it. But we'll see. We'll have a few new things coming up in 2015. And this was about a year and a half. This was the whole plan about a year and a half ago when we decided to add that second switch. That's exactly what it was for. It was for a demo on automatic mode. So it worked out just a little bit longer. It took longer, because we had other bunch of projects coming in. And that's pretty much for me, Boyd, for tonight.
That's excellent.
Will that new system switch work with that board that you've sent to Wally for me?
No.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, it has to be. The board needs a new brain, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hopefully next week I'll be ordering my first electronic set from you for the NX type. I can't wait. They look so awesome. I use the Monsters in Motion ones on my Avenger, and they just don't look as cool as yours do. They kind of like flash. I like that one.
Oh, Ian, you're gonna do the NXO one?
Yeah, well, it's for the refit.
Oh, okay, that one. I still, I'm on record here as I'm the guy that likes the NXO one.
All right, excellent news, Ralph. Glad to see that, and I'm sure that'll be really exciting. And let's go back to Scott. Looks like Scott made it back in here. Are you there now, Scott?
Yeah, I'm having router issues. I've had to reboot my router twice tonight, so hopefully I'll stay on here long enough to where I can actually show you some stuff. But yeah, for the past few weeks, after finishing up my 350 toss, which is sitting right there, you can see it.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I recognize that base.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I've been working on the 350 refit, and basically just going through the light blocking routine. Have that saucer light blocked. Started the nacelles, getting those light blocked. Working on the shuttle bay. I've got the holes drilled for Ralph's lighting, sequence lighting in there. I've got his combo D board, but finally have the arboretum finished. And the officers' lounge, I took a little bit of creative licensing here. Didn't use orange for the seating, but didn't have any, so I made black leather. So that's what I'm going to go with for my seating in there. So plants are in, all that stuff's done. I just need to put the decals in that go in the very back of the officers' lounge, and that'll be pretty much be done. I did quite a bit of lighting on the hull, the top of the saucer. Actually got ahead of myself a little bit because I still am doing the puttying and sanding routine on the walls around the sides. So I've got a lot of the strip lighting I installed. I had to put masking tape over it, so when I shot it with primer, I didn't, get paint all over it. But the bridge with its model, I don't know if you can see any of it or not, but bridge lighting is in. Does make that nice casting shadow on the front, so I'm real happy how that turned out. All the other lights are in. You can see the navs and the strobes are there, so that's coming along. I just need to get the secondary hull. I'm starting on that. It's light blocked, and I've got the the Arboretum windows in. You can see I've got those puttied and sanded. They're ready to paint or put primer on. And get lighting installed in that, get some wiring in that, and start putting that together. But that's where I've been at for the last couple of weeks.
Coming along really nice on that one, Scott. Looking good.
Thank you. That's
Awesome.
really about all I got.
Okay. Well, I'll show you a couple things I've been working on here, guys. Let's see. I got a couple things to show you. You might remember last time we were on the Hangout, I was working on the robot, so I'll just show you a little bit of that. Like I said, this thing's really a pile of spaghetti right now, but we're working on the brain, and now we're down, moving into the. Let me get some lighting down here so you can see the front end of it here. This will show up without glaring a whole lot. See some of the colors going on there. I've only got the second or the top row of the sequency lights put in there on his barrel, if you want to call it that. But the wigwags, I really like those two white lights you got above that, how they work too, Ralph. That looks good.
Yeah, we decided to be true to the show and not making it's not a true wigwag where it's consistently going at the same rate. So we wanted to make it a little bit more randomized, and so that's what we did.
Okay, and then I got his voice simulator thing in there ready to go. I'm just working on putting that lens. Like I said, Ralph, I'm going to use some of my... this is something that you guys, I talk about a lot, but I save these things right here, guys. And Mike, I was going to tell you that... just a second, let me get stuff off of it here. It's a mess right now, but I saved these plastic milk jugs. You guys need something for some really nice light diffusion. This stuff is like like a fogged up plastic, and it works really good. And I'm going to use a piece of that behind the voice lens thing here at the top, Ralph. You know, the part of the chest piece, and that'll work really good for that and diffuse that light really well. So that's working out good. And let's see, we got I just wanted to show you. I know we show a lot of refit work here, but we're on to the second refit now. This one we're working on for the next client. I'm too close, but we just glued this up tonight. And you can see we did those mods there on those pylons, and it's kind of blurry here, but the gap is like perfect on this one. You can't see any gap at all. It's going to not take hardly any putty at all to clean up the, where they have that big gap right here usually.
Boyd, what's the fit like for the nacelles and the struts? Is it a good fit, or will it?
Oh, very good. Yeah, as far as the two halves.
Yeah.
Oh, they fit perfect. Yeah, I've never had any issues with those parts on this kit. It's mainly this area right here that you got to do the work on to get it to fit nice. Because what it is basically is they've just got too much material, plastic. You've got to just shave away. I've shown that on a couple of the videos, but you've just got to shave away some of the material on the inner edge of these flanges of the pylons. And you'll see what you need to do is just when you start mocking it up, you just do one side at a time and look inside it when you put the top down on top, when you're trying to sandwich these two pieces together. And you can look in there and you'll be able to see where everything is hitting and where you need to remove some material. And it'll close right up for you. So we're doing that. But some of you guys might know about this one that I got. Not science fiction, but I'm having a lot of fun working on this one.
Oh, you got one?
Oh, that thing was hard. That thing was really hard to find. And just to show you a scale comparison here, here's the 350 refit. Okay. And here is the sub.
Oh, geez, a monster.
Oh, God.
That's massive.
So what I've been doing here is they have these what they call limbrick holes, which are the drainage holes on your outer hull of your sub. Submarines have an outer and an inner hull, and they make all these parts in photo etch. Where basically you cut this stuff off and then you just lay the photo etch over top. Well, I didn't really want to do that because I thought the detail on the model is already nice. So I went over to this guy's video. There's a guy on YouTube called Wet Willie CCMA, and he does a lot of military models, and he had a nice video of working on one of these U-boats, and he had this technique where he went from the backside here, and he just took a grinder and grinded the plastic down quite a bit thinner, and then you were just easily able to take I just used a small drill bit, and I was able to poke right through all these holes right here and just keep working it like a file, and it just cleaned them right up and made them look really nice. And especially this one down here on the bottom, I haven't finished cutting these all open yet, but this piece down here, or this area down here, if I can get it in the light a little bit better for you, they always replace that with a photo etch part. Well, you don't need to do that. Like I said, you just grind a little bit of plastic away from the backside, and you just easily cut right through it and open those right up so you get that real nice detail there. You can see I've got all the other holes here in the front opened up, and we got to do that all the way across here. There's more on the back. But yeah, we're doing that, and we're going to do that on both sides, and then I'm going to actually take some heat styrene, and I'm going to heat it up and let it sort of bend it over a round tube of some kind, just to build like a kind of a fake inner hull, like the pressure hull in there, so that when you look through these open holes, you know, if you look at the model when it's done, you're not going to be able to see all the way through it. You'll see that there'll be like some detail in there, like it's the inner hull. And I saw a really cool thing a guy did where, since you can see through these holes back here, he just scratch built the exhaust for the diesel engines. I think the exhaust output is right here. You can see it. So I'll open that up, and these holes that are a little bit farther forward of it here, if you look in them, you'll be able to see, like, and he just did it out of some sprue. You know, he just took some sprue and cleaned it up and shaped it a little bit and painted it, you know, with some colors to make it look kind of worn and a little bit rusty, and it came out really nice. So I'm going to do the same thing on that. But yeah, I'm really having fun with this. And like I said, that was a really hard kit to get a hold of. But that's it for me. Of course, we're doing a lot of work on that Reliant. You guys watched the model shop guys the other night. We had a little trouble with that board. Well, I want to say Ralph, being the good guy that he is, he showed me what we had an issue on that where we had a little one of the terminals where I soldered onto. I may have soldered a little too long, or I don't really know what happened, but we weren't getting a connection there on that fourth LED that was firing, and Ralph showed me another spot on the board that's actually right there at the resistor on that same circuit where I could solder a jumper wire onto that, and we did that, and it took right off. It's working fine now, so I'm able to go ahead and put it into the model, and I really like the effect of it too. He's got a really nice firing effect for that. So Ralph saves the day again.
Next, when that board comes out again, I think we're going to go to those connectors, so keep your paws off the damn board.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
whoa,
the compressor just came on.
Oh, okay.
Guys.
You gotta love that.
There's like a battleship call.
Yeah.
Sounded like the new Tom Cruise War of the World Martian War Machines. When
Yeah, it did actually. That thing's kind of creepy too.
Have any of you guys got or hidden away somewhere the characters for the flying sub? I've been trying to locate getting some, but it's virtually impossible. Do you know the ones I'm on about?
On that flying sub, is there a scale? Does it state?
Yeah. There's a guy that made them for the flying sub. There's the two in the seat and the one that stands behind.
No, I don't know.
Do you have any connections in that area, Boyd?
Can't hear you, buddy.
Can't hear you, Boyd. No, it's not coming through. No.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here now.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't like it when I hit the mute button there, I guess. What was your question there, Jamie?
I'm trying to locate, you know, the resin characters for the flying sub. Do you know anybody or anybody out there? So I've tried hunting for them that has a set of these.
They've been out of production for quite a while, Jamie. Back last year or so, when I bought my kit, I was talking about it on a Hangout or something like that, and there was a guy that's in Sci-Fi Model Action that sent me the figure for that, and he sent me the figures that I used in my Jupiter too. They're all made by Crow's Nest.
Yeah, that's the ones. Yeah.
And they do show up on eBay once in a while, but every time they do, people get into a bidding war over them, and I've seen them go for like $150.
God.
But now you can use what's his name?
I'm trying to think because I was going to say the same thing.
Bumble Thumb over Sci-Fi Model Action. You can use the AMT Bridge Crew figures. They're the exact same scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, just use the seated figures.
Oh yeah, I've got some of them.
Yeah, and then just do a little bit of creative painting on them. If you actually go over to Sci-Fi Model Action, it's a while back because he was working on it for our. What was he building that sub?
That was for that 3-month build we did.
Spring build, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he finished it yet, but he did show how he did a really cool little technique where he took those AMT figures and he added something onto them to make it look like they had the leather jackets and stuff on. He put a couple of wrinkles on it, and when he got done with them, they looked really good, and they're the exact right scale.
Oh, so I could use them instead then?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for that, Boyd. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, and they'll fit in the chair.
I've hunted everywhere for those Crow's Nest ones, and they're like...
Yeah, they went out of business. They used to have the flying sub figures, and they have 2 sets of figures for the Jupiter 2 for the Robinson family. They have a set that they're supposed to be in their freezer tubes, and they have another set that's like they're wearing their like winter parkas, the ones that sit inside the chariot, which I was trying to find those, and I couldn't find them anywhere. I'd still like to find a set of those too.
I've got some interesting news for you guys. I've managed to snag me a kit coming. I've put a deposit down for it. It's from a guy from Titan. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Yeah, he now and again releases a 16-inch model of the Liberator from Blake 7. So I'm hoping to, at the end of the month, he says he's going to have enough orders to send off for 10 of the kits, and I've snagged one. So hopefully, when it comes in that, I'll be able to give you an update on that one, because you know the Liberator was like our version of Star Trek. It was like that was our ship, and you lot had the Enterprise. We had the Liberator. So I'll keep you updated how that goes.
Cool. We've got a question here that came in from, let's see, it's from Clarence Smith. I know Clarence, he's regular over at Sci-Fi Model Action. He says, question for Ralph, will you be doing any lighting boards for the Mike Salzo TOS Battlestar Galactica or the Randy Cooper Star Wars Star Destroyer Avenger resin kit?
Yeah, I'm working on the Battlestar, but other things came along. I was working. Yeah, we were planning on working on that, and the engine and the landing bays. I do have some boards that I collaborated with Justin at Evans Lighting. I made some landing bays for that Battlestar Galactica ship along about a year and a half ago, and you know, he takes it and does his own thing with them, the way he lights it, but you know, I don't have much experience with that Battlestar. I don't have the ship, so, but it looks pretty much straightforward. Some of the like the we'll call them the blinkies, like the nav type lighting and the strobe type lighting. I did start on it, guys, but I put it aside because I had to work on other stuff. But eventually, I will get back to it.
Awesome. That'll be cool. You'd be able to use that on the big kit or the small kit, probably.
Right.
Very nice. Okay, guys. Well, I guess we'll we're getting kind of close to the end here. We'll just turn it over and open it up for general discussion now. Anybody have any things, questions, comments, anything they want to bring up, talk about?
Now, on your 125th Batmobile, you made your beacon strobe.
They chase.
They chase. Yeah, they chase.
Try to simulate, make it look like it's spinning, Mike, and I could only fit 3 SMDs in there, and it looks pretty good. You kind of have to see it from a certain angle to get it to really look like it's spinning, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
Now the board, can that just be done to where it just do the blink? Can it just blink? Like I can't put 3, do that with this little beacon. Is there could you take that board and actually make it to where it's just just pulsing the red,
Yeah, we can make it do anything you want. I mean, we can take outputs away. We can change the output. It all depends what you want to do.
Right on. Right, there's not going to be a whole lot of technical lighting in this model. It's not really necessarily.
Yeah, what do we have on that board? We had the scope, the phone, and the not the turbine, but the little spinning dome up top.
Yep, on the top. Yep.
And the lights, right? We had some and the lights.
Yeah, and the headlights or the rays.
Do we do that? I forget.
No, they don't do anything. They're just on the power.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Mike. On the Batmobile, I didn't supply any like driving lights or brake lights. Just the phone, the scope, and the chasing LED effect on the top.
Maybe we might have to hook up with you or send you something what I'm going to do, and just like Dracula, we can just kind of make something, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we can change the standard car lighting board because that has all the headlights, directionals.
Right.
And we can make it like a hybrid Batmobile parked car if you want, really.
Yeah, you never know. This could be a trend, and everybody could want to do a tiny Batmobile. They're inexpensive kits. They're only $12. I think that's what they were over at Cult TV, man. I think there was a sale on them actually for like $12. So.
I got that little bigger one like Boyd did. I just got the deluxe.
Yeah, I want one too. It's a nice one.
Yeah, I got mine and didn't even know that they made a deluxe that had all the photo etch with it and everything. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Boy, regarding the flying sub, did you paint it or did you leave it?
What's that? Jamie?
The flying sub.
Uh-huh.
The one in 3.2, the one I'm gonna do. What would you say? Leave the yellow as it is or paint it?
Well, it's the right color.
Yeah.
It just, I would say it depends on what kind of a mold you got. If it's pretty pristine, then you can just make.
Hang on, I'll show you. Because I was not in 2 minds up to whether to paint it or not paint it. So here's the mold.
All right. Yeah, if it's pretty pristine and it doesn't have any of those strange molding swirl marks that you usually see in plastic, you could just finely stamp, find it with some really fine paper and then go over it with some dull coat. It's supposed to be a dull finish. It's not supposed to be shiny.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do then, just give it a dull coat over it.
The only issue with that, Jamie, is you're going to have to completely cover it when you you got to light block it from the inside for sure. Yeah.
But thanks for that, Boyd.
Yeah, I love that.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I had this. I have this one here too. The original.
Oh yeah.
This kit came out originally by Monogram when I was a kid, and I always thought it was really cool because it actually has an interior in it too. and it comes with figures, but you can see the size difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like.
I saw one of these on eBay one night a couple of years ago, and I had to have it because mine, when I was a kid, I blew it up with firecrackers after I built it.
Derelict.
Oh, like we've never done that before.
Or shoot it with a BB gun.
Yeah.
I was actually watching
Admiral Nelson got taken out by the Deadly Dolls.
I was actually watching a YouTube of one, and some guy has made a remote control out of one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
They've done all kinds of cool things with them. I've seen them swimming around underneath the ocean. In fact, I was watching a cool video because I've been into this U-boat now. There's a guy has a video up on YouTube of that U-boat. The same kit I've got, he made it into an RC, and it's cruising around underneath of the. It looks awesome. He's got like a background that looks like the real ocean, you know, but it's all in scale. Like everything's. It doesn't look like he put it in a lake, you know, like and everything's too big. And it's cruising around, and all of a sudden you see these little depth charges come down and blow up. I mean, they're trying to get him, and then he's cruising around, and it stops, and then there's a close-up of the bow, and you see the torpedo doors open, and it fires the torpedoes out of there. I mean, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
No.
Ah, that is so cool. These guys, I mean, they can do anything, you know? Yeah. That was really neat.
Like that. Oh, jeez. Oh.
I was kind of talking about remote control stuff, Boyd. I was kind of watching something on the internet, and it was like, do you remember the Airwolf model?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, this guy has got I think it's a Trex engine Airwolf, and he's built this thing with a turbine engine.
Right.
So when it starts up, it sounds like Airwolf.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool.
And he flies it around, and it's got these guns that come down that fly blanks out of it, and the guns come out the side of it. And some guy had put up. He was standing next to him. And he was saying, "Well, how much did it cost you to build this remote control chopper?" And he said, "Like 20K."
Whoa.
Yeah. No.
I went, "What?"
Yeah, they even spend a lot more than that on some of those ducted fan jet planes that those guys fly and stuff like that.
Amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Wow.
A Hellcat baby turbine is like $3,000. It's about as big as this mat.
God.
Well, Adam here is big time into flying RC planes. He flies them a lot. I was telling him about a video a couple of months ago that I saw on YouTube. It was called, you might want to look it up. It's called, I think it's called the Greatest RC Airplane Crash Ever or something like that. And you see this guy, and he has a Japanese Zero, beautiful airplane model. I mean, all perfectly painted. It's got like a real pilot, detailed pilot in it and everything. And you see him, he's out at the airfield, and he takes it in, takes off on the strip, and he's flying it around. And whoever was doing the camera work was doing a really good job too, because they're hard to keep in focus and everything. And they were filming it like an HD. And you could see it looked like a real plane. If you would have dubbed out the sound, and put the sound of a real plane, you would have thought it was a real Zero flying around. Well, all of a sudden it's going past the camera, in a nice, beautiful flyby, and all of a sudden you just see this little blur, something, you can't quite tell what it is, and the port side wing rips right off the airplane, and the thing comes down and smashes on the concrete like in 10 million pieces. And you hear the guy starting to drop all these F-bombs, and like, what the hell? Well, all of a sudden, they play back the video, right, and they show it in slow motion so you get to see what it was. It was one of those tiny, little bitty, cheap toy store remote control helicopters that those little kids play with. And I don't know how the kid got it up there that high, but that's what hit that wing, and it tore the wing right off of that plane. And the guy was mad. Yeah, and the helicopter survived. The helicopter just did a couple little loops, and it kept right on flying.
I have a couple micro helicopters they'll go pretty high, actually.
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, Adam will know this. I used to fly RC planes too, and out at the airfield out there, they are really strict. Because they're different now. They've got more. The radios are more separated, but back in the day, they used to. they only had so many frequencies, right? And so, like, if you went out on the field to fly your plane, they would have this rack thing there, they would have these clothespins all hooked on the rack, and the clothespins would have your frequency number on it, you know, like whatever your crystal was in your radio, and you would take that clothespin and you'd click it onto your antenna, so that when you had that clothespin, right, nobody else that had that frequency is supposed to turn on their radio unless they have that clothespin. That way, because back then, you could be flying around, you know, and somebody over there off on the side monkeying around, you know, working on the airplane or something, turn their radio on, and down you go. I mean, you get a massive radio interference, and your controls will go crazy, and you just crash right into the ground and blow it in a million pieces.
I'm trying to think, what do they call that when they do that?
I don't remember, but I'll tell you what, I saw grown men up there fighting, literally fist fighting over, well, I mean, can you imagine, you know, some of the airplanes that these guys built, they might have spent 2 or 3 years putting it together.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody does something like that, and you see it get destroyed. I mean, I could see where you might want to, you know, get into a fight. So,
never seen the other half of my shop, have you? Where the RCs are. I don't think you ever. I don't know if I can focus in over there. I got some. I do half A scale. I like using little motors called Norvell, made in Russia.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Half A. They're the heads of them are about as big as my thumb, something like that. There was anything under 32-inch wingspan is half A.
You guys talk for a second, and I'll get something out and show you guys here. Kind of cool talking about RC. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Surprise.
Yeah, one of his planes that he crashed.
That's gonna bring a box.
I got a few of those over here. Here's my tower hobby. Bam! First time I ever tried to learn to do a tip stall was too close to the ground, and I lost air, and she nosed into the ground. Tip stall is when you turn your model up on the tip of its wing and come back at you. Well, I was a little too close to the ground.
Yeah.
Michael, a Blue Angel, you are not.
Well, every pilot, it happens. I don't care how much experience you have. It's always mechanical error or pilot error.
And electronic.
Pros smash their stuff, so it happens. It happens. It's an unmanned aircraft.
Adam just had one he built crash, and he had to rebuild it.
I'll show you the fuse. Hold on.
Have you guys seen that guy on the net who does those stunt choppers?
No.
He makes this chopper just zip around like this.
Oh, has that real quick like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here's
That's
YouTube
big. Jesus Christ. That's
Wow.
Adam, you can sit in there and fly around.
Almost. No,
What is that, an extra?
no. You ever heard of a cloud dancer?
Yeah.
This is a cloud dancer.
Oh, nice. Is it nitro or electric?
Electric. 500 watts.
Wow.
Oh,
I don't know how fast it goes, but it's very nimble.
Huh.
I had a previous version of this. Well, I built a previous version of this from plans, and it was 4 years ago. I flew it for 4 years, and I was coming out of Split S, and I had plenty of altitude. And as I was going to roll her over from the Split S, it wouldn't roll over, and I didn't know what happened. I was flying 72 megahertz at the time by myself. So I thought I lost all signal. I was trying to struggle to do something with it. And I learned, well, I didn't lose all control, so I powered her back, and it just pancaked in and split open like a banana. And I managed to salvage some parts, but the whole airframe was trash. So I brought the transmitter home, and I flew other equipment on it. And I learned that the potentiometer for the aileron was dead. So that thing failed in flight. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So I rebuilt it. This is Mark II. It's 3 months of work.
Wow.
I kind of like your character there. That'll fit in my sub.
Well, looking at this, can you guys where it may have gotten that?
No.
That's scratch. That's scratch built.
Wow.
There's two pieces of balsa wood block, and it was putty to make it smooth, and I sealed it with epoxy resin, very much like for a boat. And then I took Tamiya paints and I painted this dude.
That's cool.
Wow.
Nice pilot.
Thank you.
Here's,
It's nearly the size of your bed.
Huh? That's a
So is that.
60-inch wingspan.
right here's that half A motor. This is there's that Norvell.
Oh.
Show us your crashed aeroplanes.
Hmm.
Boyd.
Oh, wow. That's cool, Mike.
You like that little tiny little made in Russia.
Oh, wow. They're so similar to the Cox in a way, but they're,
Well, I got one of those right here for you too.
oh yeah, I remember those. I used to have a Black Widow.
What is this one? This is, I forget what the name of this is. Black Widow.
Yep, I used to have one of those.
Black Widow. Throttle. See, there's control line and then there's throttle. This is a throttle for RC. And Super Tiger.
Ah, yes.
Remember those?
One
We
of
used
the
to have
best.
those in the airplanes.
Man, throw my stuff around. Ooh. I got so much crap, RC crap. It gets.
Well, this stuff I've got here to show you guys is vintage, but it's still pretty cool.
Oh, let's see.
This is the car that I used to race.
I ruined this one.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's a big car.
it's 1/10 scale. These cars are electric and they'll run about 80 miles an hour. And now this is we used to race on real banked asphalt tracks. The tracks were huge. In fact, some of the tracks were so big you had to have a spotter that could help you see your car on the other side of the track. We actually used to talk on two-way radios, just like NASCAR. But I'll show you that. Now this is the cool part. It's the chassis. I'll take the body off here. I have some of these bodies that I painted up really nice. This is just my race body, which they take a beating, but we had some nice ones that this has all been painted on from the inside. That these are clear.
Right.
Yep.
And you paint all this on from the inside of the body.
Never could figure out how that worked.
But this is the neat part. Even this is 1992 technology, but it's still pretty sweet.
Wow.
For electric, 92 and 92. That's pretty tech.
This is all.
Is that a nitro booster in the back of that, Boyd?
This whole chassis is all carbon fiber.
Wow.
And you can see that it has complete, if I can get the camera angle here right here for you, all this suspension really works and operates. You have an independent rear suspension on it here that they call a T-bar, which it pivots this way, it pivots forward to rear. It has a couple of shock absorbers on it.
Oh, yeah.
These little electric motors right here, they draw over 50 amps.
Jeez, believe it.
God.
And you have a differential here, ball bearing differential with a pinion gear and what they call a pinion gear and a spur gear. It has a quick change rear end on it where you can easily swap out. You have in my toolbox here, I have something like 150 different gear ratio combinations that I would have for it. And Adam will probably recognize this. This is vintage, but it's still mint condition. This was my radio.
Oh, yes.
Oh my.
And
My brother used to use
72
it.
megahertz.
this was state of the art in '92, but I mean it was all digital.
That's programmable and everything, right?
Oh yeah, you've got everything. You can program on the fly. You can set all your trims and everything, and it still works perfect. It doesn't even have a mark on it. It's like brand new.
Believe it or not, there's people who still want that stuff out there. I was in a club that some of the older guys on there were like, oh, I can't believe you threw away that, 72 megahertz this or that, and it's like, it's lost technology, it's junk.
Is that a bit like the old mobile phones, boy, where the battery's the size of a car battery to run it?
Yeah. Well, this particular chassis, if you can see it here, it's set up for. You can see it maybe better on the bottom side there. These straps that are right here. It holds a 6-cell NiCad battery, and you charge that battery up, and that battery will be completely discharged in about 4 minutes. I mean, that's how much amperage it was drawing. We would run 4-minute heats, and I got into this really heavy, and that's back in the day when I started doing this. When I quit doing models, I was building models back then. When I found this hobby, I quit. I got completely absorbed in this, and I'll just show you a little something here. This is old and dusty. But each one of those blue things on there was represents a first place in the Midwest Championships.
Wow.
Oh, well done.
I used to be pretty good at it. And the whole thing is like you'd go to the racetrack, and we had all these tools and everything. You actually had a miniature engine. I still have all my stuff. You have a miniature engine dyno that you could put the motor on there, and you could dyno it, and it would tell you exactly how much torque and RPM it's putting out, and you could tweak on it to get it to put out more. The chassis, it's all about tuning the chassis. The front end on this thing has all these different, you can see them here, these white things that are in there. Those are all different shims that you can put in to change the caster and the camber. You can see that the last track I raced on, the wheels are leaned a certain way here.
Right.
And it was all about getting your car just like a real race car, where you get your car so it would like go around the corners with like wide open, where you didn't have to let off the gas, and that's when you'd make a fast car. These are foam tires on here, and in about 1 weekend, these are old and starting to get dry. You can see they're starting to chunk up, but in 1 weekend you burn these right down to the rim. I mean, it just chews them right up. But it was a lot of fun. I miss it. In fact, I would have never gave up, but when I moved down to San Antonio back in '96, I couldn't find a track around here, and I just quit doing it.
I'm surprised because it's
Boyd.
They have the type of RC they have around here is the off-road stuff, and that's what I started out doing. I started racing off-road first, but when I found the asphalt and the speed, and these are, I love NASCAR, and these cars that we raced were just like the regular NASCARs, and I really had a blast with that. And if you got with some good drivers, it was amazing how you could go around the track in a pack of about 6 or 7 cars, like side by side, and nobody would ever wreck, and you're doing like 80 miles an hour. That was pretty cool.
Was it an expensive hobby, Boyd?
Very expensive, yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yep.
They got dirt tracks around here.
It was especially expensive when you were a rookie and you were learning when you kept breaking stuff. The whole trick to it was, and people would come up to me later on, and say, well, how come you don't crash very much? Well, you learn to drive these cars to where you don't even look at the car, okay? You almost drive it like with, like if you learn a musical instrument, if you know what I mean, you don't even think about it anymore. And when you're driving the car, you're not looking at the car. You're looking about 10 or 15 feet in front of it on the racetrack, and that's how you learn how to not crash. Because I couldn't believe how many times I'd see a car, like somebody'd spin out and it'd be just sitting there, and somebody would just come up and just T-bone it. I mean, like they didn't even know it was there, and just pieces go flying everywhere, and you're seeing hundreds of dollars of parts, flying in the air. You're just like, oh man. So, anyways, it was really cool. I thought you guys might want to see that.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. That was cool.
Now you can change the gear ratio and that suspension on the back and everything, right?
Oh yeah, it's got a quick change rear end. You just loosen up this little jam nut here on the side, Mike. You can see it in there.
Mm-hmm.
That hub comes right off, and you can change the spur and the pinion on the motor. So you've got literally, like I said, hundreds of different gear ratios. Now, what was cool was, see, when I was racing these, this is how long this has been. laptops were first starting to come out, right? And
Lord.
this guy came up with this program. Now, what it was, is, like, say if you went to a new track, right? Track you'd never been to before. And what they did is they ran a 4-minute heat. Okay, so like the cars would all be sitting on the starting line. The guy would say go, and the cars had a, you can see right up here on the top, there's a little hole drilled there. But they had they would put a transponder in there, right, with a little clip that would hold it in place. And they had an electronic scoring loop, so every time the car went by, it would score on the track. It would score your lap time and how many laps you turned in 4 minutes. And they would run for a 4-minute heat. So in order to qualify or whatever, it was the fastest cars, like how many laps, and if there was ever a tie, they took the fastest average lap times throughout your run. So like, if you had consistently fast laps or whatever, that's where you got moved. And just like at the end, they would put you in like the A main or the B main, like they do a sprint car racing. You got
dirt track racing too.
Yeah, the A main is the one you always wanted to be in, So yeah, they had all this cool, they had it all set up just like real stuff. The cars had to weigh exactly 32 ounces, and you didn't want to be above or you didn't want to be below. But you'd go to this track and you'd go up to in order to figure it out, you'd go up to the track, and you'd ask the guy that was running the track, you'd say, okay, what's the track record here? And he'd say, okay, it's 52 laps, for example, right? Well, you take this little, I had one of those little things that you see construction workers use, the little wheel that's got the stick, and it'll count in feet and inches when you roll it. Okay, so you walk around the track and you walk the racing groove. You can see just like on a real racetrack, you could see where the groove was on the track. You didn't want to go all the way around the outside. You wanted to walk the groove, so you'd get the exact amount of feet. Well, this guy figured out a little computer program that I was one of the first people that had a laptop. So my little van that I had, I call it my racing van. I had a little workbench and everything in there. I had my little laptop, and I'd punch in the size of the track, and then you had to measure the diameter of your rear tire, and it would come up with this formula, and it would tell you the exact right gear ratio to run. Whoa! You'd go out there, you'd have to trial and error. You'd have to, okay, try this gear. Does the car, is it too slow? Is it too fast? You always wanted to have the car geared so where the battery would be totally dead at the end of that 4 minutes. You didn't want, if you had battery left over, you were not running enough gear. You see what I mean? You didn't want to have any battery left. You want to be maxed out. So yeah, this thing would give me the formula, and like you might be off by like one tooth too high or maybe one tooth too low, but it gets you right in the ballpark. So I'd go put the car on the track and I'd start going around, and people would start watching, and all your competitors would be watching your car, and you'd see them sitting there with their stopwatches and stuff, and they'd be over there talking, and then pretty soon they'd come up like, how can you come over here and you've never been to the track before and you're putting the car down and you're running track record lap times and everything. Well, it was that little program, That's what it was. And nobody had the laptops, and like all the guys around the track, they had their stuff. If you walked over there, they'd put a towel over it, or like if they came up by my van, I'd shut the door. It was all top secret. That was what was kind of fun about it, It was competition, but yeah, it was cool.
That's cool.
So,
I love RCing. It's fun.
Yeah. I go over and watch some of the racing they do around here, and they've got some nice stuff out there now. I mean, like I said, they do a lot of the dirt racing. They have both electric and gas, and I like to watch the gassers because they've got all the power. And they're throwing the dirt all over the place, and they're fast.
Smell that nitro.
Yeah. So, pretty cool.
Hmm.
Does anybody have anything else? We're running kind of long tonight, guys. We've been on for 2.5 hours.
Nope.
Enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, no harm, no foul about the 72 megahertz thing. I hope not. That was just, I don't know what maybe possessed me to say that. No, but it's...
Yeah. This thing still has the rechargeable batteries in it. The old, what are they? The
NiCad, probably.
Yeah, they're Sony's. Let's see, I'll even show you. These are probably antiques.
Do they even work anymore?
Oh yeah, it'll charge right up.
Really? Wow. Lucky.
Everybody wants me to take it out and run it on the street, but I can't. The foam tires won't get any traction. You know, if there's any dust or anything, you know, it won't. It'll just spin out and go crazy. I don't want to wreck the dang thing. So.
Yeah, you never get parts for it.
No. But okay, guys. Well, this was a great hangout tonight. We had some real eye candy for everybody too. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And, thanks, you guys, for showing up again this week. And don't forget, this Sunday they'll be doing the European hangout. I'll try to stop in for those from time to time. But again, we'll be having Liam and Craig Kerr that'll be the hosts for that. And it'll be pretty much the same format we've always done. They want to do it the same way, where we keep it nice and organized, and it'll be a good time. And I'm glad that I'm glad they stepped up to do that. And don't forget, over at Sci-Fi Model Action, we still have the Final Frontier group build that's going on. You'll see. I think that ends at the end of this month, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
How's your fundraising going, Boyd?
Oh, it's doing good. Yeah, it's doing really good.
That should be an awesome build when you get to do it.
We've got a long ways to go. It's an ambitious goal, but we'll see. You know, hopefully we can raise enough at least to get the kit, and then do the rest ourselves, a little bit here, a little bit there, but pretty excited about it. Okay, guys, well, thanks for coming tonight. We appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for showing us your work. You guys are doing outstanding jobs on your models, and thanks for the questions that everybody sent in. So we'll call this one a wrap, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Happy modeling, guys.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night.
Can you hang on 1 second, Boyd?
Sure. Hey, Ralph, before you go, if you could wait a minute. Oh, he's gone. That was quick.